What's up, Dark Horses? I'm Shane Farmer, this is Dark Horse, and today we're covering rowing for every body type. I guarantee you fit into one of all the body types. So stay tuned. If you've never been here before, welcome to Dark Horse Rowing, where we want to change lives by giving you and empowering you with healthy habits and putting you on the path to be your best possible self by being a dark horse. Something that comes across through our comments pretty regularly is people wondering, how do I row with X body type? I am a pregnant woman. I am an overweight male. I'm 16. I'm 85. How is it different for me? And that's what this video is all about, is let's identify a lot of these differences and talk about what you may be changing or not changing to accommodate your particular body on the rowing machine, regardless of what machine you may have. The topics that I plan on covering today are going to be tall versus short, slimmer versus larger, male versus female, adaptive, old versus young. I think that's all of them. Oh, left versus right-handed, that too. That one's important. Let's start with one of probably the more common questions, which is larger versus slimmer. And by this, I'm mostly referencing the weight loss crowd, because we get a lot of questions that my belly gets in the way. How am I supposed to accommodate that? Because when I get into the catch position or the front loaded position, I find that my belly is getting in the way and it's making it really hard for me to get into a full depth catch. And so I'm unsure how I'm supposed to do this. Do I split my legs to create room, or do I keep my legs in place and row shorter, which doesn't feel as powerful? What am I supposed to do to accommodate for a belly that may be in the way? So how do we answer that question? How are you supposed to row if your belly is getting in the way of the way that you move? Because this can be a really frustrating, I wouldn't call it a problem, but this could be a frustrating movement question that we have, because you're looking at our videos and seeing, all right, well, that's the catch position that Shane says I should have, but how I can't accomplish that. So here's the answer. We always want to prioritize fundamental good movement over everything else first and foremost. Lay a strong foundation that allows you to build on top of. Now, with that being said, if my belly or my stomach is getting in the way of a good tight catch position, I want to train the mechanics so that as I lose weight, I've developed a good habit behind my movement. If you are splaying your legs out to the side to get deeper into the catch, you are essentially robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're going to rob your body of good position to get length. And the way that I like to, and this comes up in a lot of different discussions for different body types, but it's that length is only good if it's good length. And what I mean by that is you can only go as deep as your body can maintain good position. Once you pass that threshold, you become less and less efficient. It's a diminishing returns curve, if you will. So my suggestion always is to, yes, row short. And while that may feel frustrating, you can still get a really great workout with a half slide catch. Executing on good movement principles, teaching your body how to push the arms away first, close the hips, and then let the knees bend and cruise into the catch, whether it's half, 3/4, or full slide depth, and then explode. So my suggestion on this is always prioritize good positions. Even if your stomach may be in the way, stick to good position. Now, if you're an absolutely monstrous human being, just you're 6'9", 300 pounds just because you're that big, well, your movement may differ slightly, but for all intents and purposes, you want to maintain good position, good mechanics, and lay a strong foundation for your movement. Now, if you're on the slimmer side of things and you're actually quite skinny, the things that you may struggle with are finding good engagement from perhaps a lack of muscular stability in your body. So things that are going to be important for you to think about when you get on this machine are that we should be trying to adapt your body to develop strength in position. And for that, we want to work perhaps on the slightly higher end of the drag factor damper setting range to train your body how to develop good muscular engagement and add muscle to your body so that over time you can develop a stronger system that will allow you to drive more power to the machine and give you better workouts in the long run. Next is male versus female. In all honesty, between male and female, there are no movement differences that we need to worry about. The reason I put this one in is because I wanted to address pregnant women, because this is also a question that comes up frequently is, I'm pregnant, can I or should I row? Number one and number two that we have to address first and foremost, has your doctor cleared you for movement? If so, great, that's checkbox number one. Checkbox number two is, do you feel good on the machine? If you do, great, let's proceed to talking about the movement. If neither of those things or one of those two doesn't fly, then don't consider this movement. Now, with that being said, if you have a growing being inside of your stomach and you're trying to figure out how I row for that, honestly, you just have to listen to the limitations of your body. I would encourage you to consider the same as I would with an overweight client, where reduce the depth of your catch as your stomach allows you that range of motion. Now, as well, if you can still let your knees glide slightly around your belly and you can still target your knees to your armpits, which is what we usually advocate, then great, you can continue to row at perhaps a full slide catch. If not, and if it gets uncomfortable to be in that much of a depth position inside of the catch, then start to shorten it by going to 3/4, half slide, and maybe you eventually end up at arms and body only. I know when my wife was pregnant, for about 2 months, she was okay on the machine, and then she got really uncomfortable. She just didn't enjoy being on it. And so we cut it out entirely, and that was the right solution for her, just like it should be the right solution for you. Next would be old versus young, and I really love this discussion, mostly from the standpoint of, it comes back to rowing is for every body, meaning that you can start at any age you want. I have my 2-year-old daughter on the machine just the other day. She sat on the slide, not on the seat. We bumped the foot stretchers all the way up, and she sat there and rowed arms and body only. And guess what? She loved it. She had a great time. The monitor on many rowing machines have some games to them. That's a great way to incentivize kids to get involved with this. And honestly, as long as your feet can fit in the foot stretchers and your butt can sit on the seat, you can start as early as you want. There's no detriment to exercising with some resistance, especially as you're a younger athlete. And I would encourage all young athletes, be as diverse as possible. Explore anything that seems interesting to you. Play every sport. I did as a kid. And I think it's one of the healthiest ways of developing a strong performance-based lifestyle is try everything, stick with it, and just explore. Find the things that you love by playing and exploring lots of different things. Don't get too specialized too soon and too early. Now, on the opposite spectrum of that, we have elderly clients. If we're talking, let's just, I'm not classifying 60 as elderly, but let's just say 60 and over clients. The rowing machine in general, or the rowing movement in general, is so kind on the body. The things that we need as we get older are to maintain bone density, as well as coordination, agility, and aerobic capability. Frankly, these things all suffer as we get older and as our lifestyles become more and more sedentary. We have to be far more proactive to chase down these facets of life if we are going to and want a healthy later life segment, if you will. So rowing does wonderfully on this because A, it reduces gravity bearing on our body, meaning we can accomplish a lot of work that we may not be able to do anymore through running or cycling. It also is going to allow us to build some strength and bone density by having resistance against which we can push. We desperately want to ensure that we maintain the building of muscle as well as bone density, which happens through impact and happens through the ability to develop strength. We need to do those things as we age. Rowing is fantastic for that. So here's my suggestion. If you are younger, be as varied with this machine as possible. Spend a lot of time, spend short periods of time, go play other sports, try rowing, check it all out. As you get older, if you're loving this machine, make sure that you are using some higher resistance. Yes, it is important, and I know we may find more efficiency as we get older, and perhaps we've been on this machine for a long time, so we may be to the point where our drag factors come down, but that high damper setting can be effective for helping to build strength and strength endurance when we are on a rower. So that's the general gist of it. Make sure that you are, as you are spanning your life, you understand that this machine is very usable. Always work to what your body can do and wants out of this, but know that old versus young, this machine's just gonna do you right. And tall versus short. This one is extremely common, especially from the crowd that thinks that because they're short, rowing isn't for them. And that's absolutely false. There's no reason that just because you are shorter, rowing can't be an effective training tool for you. And a lot of people say, well, I'm short, so I can't be good at rowing. And that's patently false as well. The fact is, your objective is to make your body move as well as possible. I can't make you taller, but I can make you more efficient, and I can give you the longest possible stroke with good movement. I have to asterisk that. Get as long as possible with good movement. This is important. You can get long, and then you can get long with good movement. So don't prioritize length for length's sake. Prioritize length after you've prioritized good positions, good movement, and good movement quality. And I have had lots of athletes, especially like CrossFit style athletes, games athletes even, that I've worked with that are very short, 5'1" and up. And guess what? They found a way to get good at this movement despite perhaps their height detriment, that they're just as qualified because they learned to move well, they understood their bodies on the machine, and they learned to work their bodies with the machine instead of saying, oh, I'm short, this machine isn't for me. So always prioritize good movement, follow good practices, learn how to move well, find your efficiency, and all of a sudden you'll find that this machine no longer feels like a black hole of energy. You'll find that you start to thrive on this thing. Now, as a tall athlete, especially if you're excessively tall, it's important that you are almost thinking to the opposite of, it can be very easy to stretch on both ends of the movement. You actually want to bring the two ends in, the catch and the release, and make sure that those are nice and crisp, not overreaching on either side. So do ensure that you are, number one, when you get to the catch, turn it around before you're tapping the front of the machine. That tap is actually an inefficiency point. And at the release, make sure you're stopping that layback at 11. Don't start overreaching, especially being excessively tall. You may find that you waste a lot of energy as you pass that 11 o'clock point and have to bring it all back up to move through the recovery again. So with the taller athletes, shore up the two ends, catch and release, be snappy at both, and be strict with where you are. With the shorter athletes, prioritize movement, build length as the movement will allow, and find efficiency in the movement. Next we have adaptive rowing, and this is really a beautiful use of this machine. Now within adaptive rowing, you have multiple categories. You have arms and shoulders, you have trunk and arms, you have legs, trunk, and arms, and within legs, trunk, and arms, you have visually impaired, intellectually impaired, and then amputee categories. So below the knee, I believe, or above the knee, and arms. So depending on your amputee status, it will classify what category of adaptive rowing you are in. Now what's so useful about this is the machine can be manipulated in multiple ways to be able to organize and work with whatever type of athlete you may have. Now from an arms and shoulders athlete who's needing the midline braced, there are different ways that we can do this. We have fixed seats on the slide. We have tractor style seats that have harnesses that go around the trunk. You can remove the slide from the machine, for example, and bring a wheelchair up to the front of the machine, fix the legs on the front end under the flywheel, and then you can simply be in a wheelchair using the machine. And the same goes for the skier, for example. There are lots of ways of using this machine for adaptive categories, and it's really amazing to be able to see adaptive athletes find an outlet for that fitness, especially as varied as it is and as varied as the adaptation may need to be. And this tool is so useful in that sense. The ways in which we craft the movement and we craft the athlete are so varied depending on each person, because every injury or every adaptation is unique to that person. We want to ensure that we are crafting movement the best way possible. So it's almost impossible for me to say all of the different ways that we would change and alter this movement, but it's safe to say that, for example, you can have arms only rowing, you can have trunk and arms in which you are still able to hinge at the hip and the legs are fixed. You can be working with single leg rowing, you can be working with a removed slide and a fixed flywheel. The variations are endless, but do know that this machine is extremely adaptable and usable for these purposes. And left-handed versus right-handed. I'm kidding, there's no difference. And that's a wrap. Now, there may be variations inside here that we didn't touch on. For example, flexibility, whether you're tight or extremely flexible, both have their own issues to deal with. And we'll probably handle that in a future video. But the point being that the rowing movement is for every body. And I mean that. You can adapt this movement any way that you need for whatever your body type, but at the end of the day, it's important that you understand how you are using the movement for your body and that you are doing it with the right end frame in mind, not just doing it to get it done, doing it with purpose and intention so that you get the training value out of it that you're looking for, whether it's weight loss or maintaining fitness during pregnancy, or you're an adaptive athlete that needs a fitness outlet, whatever it may be, this movement is adaptable, usable, and I would encourage you to do so and find the right solution for you. So Dark Horses, thank you for tuning in this week. You know that I love you guys and I love all of you hanging around here. And if you found yourself enjoying this video, it's probably because you yourself are a Dark Horse. And that is why this community has been so amazing, is because we've built this amazing group of people that live all around the world that consider themselves Dark Horses. That is the underdog, the person who is willing to work and toil in the soil despite not getting any credit for it, despite others maybe not thinking that that's where they should be in their life. And yet they're willing to pursue a passion because they believe in themselves and where they want to go. If that's you, hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you get alerted every time we come out with a new video, and you join the Dark Horse community that's incredibly supportive and hangs out in the comments. And we just share this love and this knowledge and this push for each other to go do amazing things in your own lives. And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we will see you next time. We'll see you on the other side. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and you're looking for more and you want workouts, continuous coaching from me and my other coaches in our private Facebook community, it's our monthly workout program. It's $39 a month. Just go over to darkhorserowing.com/athlete to sign up now.